have another amazing person coming up. It is Mr. Chad Prather. He is known for the way with his words. He is a comedian, armchair philosopher, musician, and humorist. He is often referred to as the modern-day Will Rogers. He is a fast-talking combination of Louis Grizzard and Jeff Foxworthy. Originally from Augusta, Georgia, Chad now calls Fort Worth, Texas area his home. He grew up working with horses, an industry he's actively involved in, and is often recognized by his ever-present cowboy hat. His social media viral video are counted in the hundreds of millions. Many recognize him from his fast-talking, rapid-fire rants from the front seat of his truck. CNN has labeled him the pickup pundit, and Fox News' Tucker Carlson has called Prather supernaturally articulate. He is known for his comedic family stories told from an adult perspective on stage. Prather has made numerous appearances on Fox News, CNN, A&E, and The Blaze, MSN, and has been featured in magazines from Southern Living to Nash Country Weekly. He is the host of Ride Texas, It's My Backyard, and Chad Prather's Comedy Shootout. His wildly successful 2016 King of Countdown comedy tour was a hit, and his current Star Spangled Banner comedy tour is selling out theaters all over America. He's one of the country's fastest rising and talked about comedians and entertainers. If you would please help me welcome Mr. Chad Prather.
It's good to see you guys. It is good to be with you. I'm curious, though. I don't know why in the world they would bring me up after a guy as smart as Charlie Kirk. That is fascinating to me. Did y'all enjoy Candace last night? I've always said you should never pick your heroes until they're already dead, okay? But let me tell you, people like Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, those are the kind of folks that you can make heroes. You can look up to them, you can emulate their life. They're so smart, but they're people of character and integrity, and I'm glad to call them friends. And I hope you understand what a rich blessing it's been to be able to spend time with them. And now I'm going to dumb it down for you, all right? So I'm going to use small words as much as possible. When I think about you guys, I got a wife, 3 dogs, a cat, 5 kids, and all 5 of my kids are very unique. 2 of them are off at college, and then I've got a son that is 13, so they range from 23 down to 13. And I always am curious about the next generation because, as Ronald Reagan said, conservatism is just one generation away from extinction. In other words, if you don't carry the mantle, it all goes away. The things we value, it all goes away. This church is one generation away from extinction. Texas is one generation away from extinction. America is one generation away from extinction. So I'm laying a heavy burden on you guys to carry the torch. A guy by the name of Walt Mason 100 years ago, he wrote a poem. It's called The Man Who Delivers the Goods. It goes like this. There's a man in this world who's never turned down, wherever he chances to stray. He gets a glad hand in the populous town and out where the farmers make hay. He's greeted with pleasure in deserts of sand and deep in the Isle of the Woods. Wherever he goes, there's a welcoming hand. He's the man who delivers the goods. I want you to be men and women that deliver the goods. Whenever you show up, people should be glad that you're coming because they know that you're a person of substance that brings something to the room. You're not empty. You are a full vessel, and you're ready to give out because you have taken the time, like you are being here, to invest in yourself. You know, you can't fish in a swimming pool. You know why? There's nothing in there. There's no fish in there. But a lot of people are just empty like that. I want to encourage you guys, keep investing in yourself so that you become men and women who deliver the goods. And I'm going to take just a couple of minutes of your time to share with you how I believe you can do that, okay? You with me? Everybody good? Does anybody ever ask you, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I hate that question. You know, 'cause who knows? You know, I was in a job interview one time, and the guy said, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I said, doing your job. He didn't like that a whole lot. But I think it is kind of good to have a vision, right? And just kind of watch where you're going in life. I had a buddy of mine, he called me on the phone a couple years ago. He called me on the phone. He said, let's go fishing. And I said, I don't have time to go fishing. He said, you need to make time. Let's go. I found this great place to go fishing. So he talked me into it. And we went down to this pond. And it was built in such a way that there was a flat bank, which is where we were standing and fishing. And then on three sides, it was the bank went up at a 45-degree angle for about 100 feet. And, or at least it looked that way. It might not have been that high, but it was a very steep bank. We're down there fishing, right? And all of a sudden, we hear a pickup truck coming down the road. And this guy just slides to a stop. Poof, big poof of dust right there. You know how the dust kind of catches up with the truck once it stops? And this guy who was fat climbs out of the thing, and he's in a hurry, and he's wearing his dress pants, and he's got on a starched shirt. And you could tell he'd probably come from the office, and it was lunchtime, so I figured he was on his break. And he's yelling down to us, hey, are the fish biting? And we're like, yeah, give him a thumbs up. And so this guy, and he was fat. He goes and he reaches over into his truck and he grabs his tackle box and he grabs a fishing pole. And then he reaches into his toolbox and he pulls out the inner tube thing, the thing that they put on and they float around. And let me tell you, he put the legs on that thing, and when he got it up to his belly, he was really testing the limits of that elasticity of that inner tube. He was really wedged into that thing really good. It made me claustrophobic just to watch him do it. He picked up his tackle box and he picked up his fishing pole and he took one step down towards the water. And he wasn't paying attention to how steep the grade was on the hill. And so he took the second step and you could tell he was trying to catch his balance. Now, don't forget, he's wearing an inner tube. Tackle box in one hand, fishing pole in the other. Well, next thing you know, the momentum's got him running downhill. It's got him going. He's now in a jog halfway down. By the time he was 3/4 of the way down, he was in a full-on sprint. He hit the water. Fishing pole goes flying out. Tackle box goes flying out. And when he was knee-deep, he flipped upside down. And he's floating there with his two rubber legs just sticking up in the air. And I'm dying laughing, right? The guy's over there dying. And I'm laughing. So finally, I realized what's going on, the importance and the severity of this thing. I looked at my buddy. I said, we should probably go help him. And so we did. We kind of cut out across the water. And he came out with a little pop, And his face was purple, The tackle box was floating off across the lake, and his fishing pole was gone. And he came out, and he took the inner tube off, and he climbed back up the hill. Never said a word. Not thank you, not anything. Just thankful to be alive, I guess, and got in the truck. And he rolled his window down. He goes, hey, aren't you that guy from the internet? And I kind of gave him a thumbs up, and he sped off. But I thought to myself, I said, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that here's a guy who, all because he didn't watch where he was going, that one step almost got him killed. So I encourage people to have a vision for their life. And if you want to have a vision for your life, and I know you hear that phrase a lot, you got to be able to see beyond your boundaries. So many people are limited. There's an untrue apocryphal story that I love. I wish it were true. But a lot of times it's taught in history class. You got to be careful what's taught in history class because it's not, as you found out, always true. But this apocryphal story says that in 1776, July 4th, which is a pretty pivotal day in U.S. history, that King George of England wrote in his diary, nothing important happened today. Little did he know that across the ocean, in the colonies that he ruled over, they declared a revolution against his tyranny. He couldn't see beyond his boundaries. There could be a massive traffic accident outside right now. We don't know. We can't see beyond these walls. But I encourage you guys to dream and dream big. Get a vision for your life that is so big. I am stupid, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. A couple weeks ago, it's a couple of months now, I got a little bit upset about the state politics in Texas. Now, I'm an entertainer. I'm in the entertainment business. I do pretty well for myself. And I got mad. I'll be honest with you. I had an extra glass of wine. And I was with the Trump family, and I got fired up. And I got on Twitter and said, that's it, I'm running for governor of Texas. So I went to bed, and I woke up to a firestorm. I had no idea what I had done. And I was like, oh, that wasn't a dream. I really did that. I put that out there. I didn't want to go into politics. I didn't want to deal with all the minutia that goes with running state politics. But I love this state. Wasn't born here. I got here as fast as I could. You know, I try to emulate the guys that died at the Alamo. Not saying that I want to die anywhere, but they weren't from here either. But they loved this state, and they loved what it stood for. And I'm tired of us not having personal liberty. I'm tired of us not being allowed to have personal responsibility and to be able to not have the intrusion of government in our lives. See, to be a conservative, this thing called government has gotten so far out of control. To be a conservative means you don't want the government's involvement in every aspect of your life. You want a small government. You want to govern yourself. You want to govern your family, your house. You want to govern your community, your city, your state. And so, you know, we're blessed to live in what I believe is the greatest country on the planet, still to this day. It's the greatest country on the planet. Now, I know this because it doesn't matter what statistics say. I know this because just south of here, at the southern border, there's tens of thousands of people lined up trying to get into this country, and we can't get a single stupid celebrity to leave. It's true. And I've tried. I mean, I want to tell you what I want to do. I don't want to just build a border wall on the southern border. I want to build it across Canada, too, because I don't trust those white guys up there. Listen, I think we ought to set up slingshot stations or catapults along the northern border. And everybody that says, well, if Trump gets reelected, I'm moving to Canada. We ought to help them move. Just let them go. And we can send, these guys drive me crazy. These guys like, you know, comedian Jim Carrey, actor, celebrity Jim Carrey. You know, he comes down here and makes $600 million and then complains about capitalism and wants us to be socialist. Send him back. You know? I see this kind of stuff, and not only do we live in the greatest country, we live in the greatest state in that country. So I'm very passionate about this place. And the thing about it is people keep coming up to me and saying, man, why y'all need to be more like South Dakota? Because Governor Kristi Noem, she didn't shut the state down. She did a great thing. Very heroic, in my opinion, because she went against the status quo and she went against the flow. But I don't want to be compared to South Dakota. I want to be Texas. I want to be, by God, Texas. So goes Texas, so goes the nation. We are the 10th largest economy in the world. We could be our own nation. And if I'm elected governor, you see. We'll see. We'll have to invade Oklahoma and bring them with us probably, and they're not going to fight back. I'll be El Presidente. It'll be fun. I'm sorry if you're from Oklahoma, but trust me, you'll like the end result. We live in this great, incredible state. I don't want to be compared to South Dakota. I want us to be the standard. South Dakota doesn't have a waffle iron in its shape. Texas does. South Dakota doesn't have a toast. We got Texas toast. We got bread named after us. They don't put the state flag of South Dakota on a bikini. We do that here. This is Texas. And I heard somebody say to me, and it really bothered me. They say, you know, Texas isn't the Texas that most Texans think it is these days. Man, that concerns me. So I want us to take it back and keep it great, because it's not great right now. It's not in great shape. We're one generation away from extinction. Everything that we've known about Texas being great, I've got friends from all over the world. They come here and they say, I didn't care about visiting America. I wanted to visit Texas. Because when I go back, everybody's going to say, did you get to go to Texas? One generation away. What's your vision? What's your vision for the future? Why, are you dreaming big? Are you making plans? I mean, I probably have tied a knot with my tongue that I can't untie with my teeth by saying that I'm going to run for governor. But I have a shoe-sized mouth, and I often put my foot right there in it. So we'll see. But I'm dreaming big. It's a Texas-sized vision. And you know what vision, when you get it, you know what it leads to? It leads to passion. Passion is getting empowered by what you see. because it's so big, it's so fancy, it's so just huge, it's so impossible. You know you can't do it by yourself. You're just like, man, that'd be great if that happened. But it gets you up in the morning to pursue it. You rise to pursue it. You know, I encourage people, and I'll go ahead and say this. The hard thing is you can have vision and passion, but you got to balance that with discipline. Because if you don't have discipline, listen, I haven't been watching sports because these people. But I grew up. I was a ball player. I was a football player and a baseball player and all that stuff. Quarterback can drop back and make this beautiful spiral pass down the field, right? Wide receiver can dive for it and just stretch his body out. You can hear the cameras clicking on the sideline. And it's just beautiful. Going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, right, making this catch. And it just touches his fingertips, and he's able to just barely grab it and pull it in. But the problem is he lands out of bounds. It doesn't matter how passionate he was for it. It doesn't matter if it was beautiful or how graceful, how athletic. It doesn't count. So I encourage people, discipline your life to pursue your vision. Discipline your life. You want to do something with your life? Take a class. Come to one of these. Come to this thing. And God bless Christian Collins for putting this thing on. Give him a round of applause. I've talked to Christian. Christian's been on my show. I would tell you to subscribe to the Chad Prather show, but you might be a little young for some of what we talk about. Y'all go subscribe to Charlie Kirk. I guarantee you I just got more subscriptions than Charlie. I'm pretty honest. I'm pretty real. I don't have a lot of filters, but I will tell you this. You got to discipline your life to accomplish that vision. And that's a hard thing to do. But coming to something like this and feeding your brain and taking notes. You know, I'm 47 years old. I know I look pretty, but listen. Dang, y'all are rough. 47 years old, I still reference back to college notebooks. Because unlike these weird indoctrination camps they call universities and colleges today, I actually went to a good school and had good professors. I told my my daughters when they went off to 2 different universities across the country, I said, I encourage you. I'm not going to tell you what to think, but I've taught you how to think. And when I send you off, just know that you can come back with a lot of ideas and we can have open discussion. And I'm not afraid of you hearing some things that maybe I don't agree with. That's okay, but I will not fund bad ideology. Because as soon as you do that, I'm pulling you back home and I'm beating your butt. I will tie you to the bed. I will pray over you. I will anoint you with oil. I will speak in tongues. I will read the scripture to you, and I will beat your butt. And let me tell you, I got 5 kids. The beauty of having a big family is you don't have to beat all their butts. You can just cull one out of the herd. And you can beat their butt while the others watch. And you send her limping to her room and hope she's not the one that picks out your old folks' home. All right? It's a true story. But see, we've lost things like discipline in this country. We've lost it because it's not politically correct. It's not politically correct to do that anymore. It's not even politically correct to talk about it, you know? But I do. I do, because I believe in discipline. Without discipline, you're not going to accomplish that vision. And I want to tell you guys, if you want to see beyond your horizons and get empowered by what you see and discipline your life to accomplish it, at some point in time, you got to pull the trigger. That means you got to take a risk. Man, it's hard. A lot of people don't want to risk because risk is spending your life to accomplish the vision that you saw. So a lot of people get behind the rifle, right? They're looking down the range. They're looking through the scope, and it's ready, aim, 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 and they never pull the trigger. At some point in time, you got to step out into nothing, step out in order to pursue it. And I'll tell you, man, it is a scary thing to do because this is a wild world we're living in right now. People are crazy. Women wearing pink hats and marching down the street and all kind of stuff. You ever been to one of those women's rallies? I found myself in one accidentally. looking like this. They're mad at me. I couldn't figure out why. I was just trying to pick up chicks. No, anyway, it's not a good place to do that. Forget what I just said. Yeah, blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus, blood of Jesus. But I find this world just getting crazier and crazier. But you know what? If you study history, the biggest thing you're going to see, the last several thousands of years of human development in Western civilization, there's one reoccurring theme. It's never gone away. And that is man's inhumanity to other men. People are violent. And these days we're facing a persecution in this country. It's okay. You know what? You can love America and not be racist. You can be a conservative and not be racist. But you're being told every day. The two people I hate the most and can't stand on this planet are racists and the Chinese. Oh, Christians never having me back. Oh, Charlie Kirk would never say that. But I will, even as governor. I'm kidding. Let's see, he's already talked about child abuse, and now he's insulted the Chinese. Yeah, so that's... But we live in this crazy time. We live in this crazy time where if you have certain convictions, certain beliefs, certain freedoms, certain liberties that are out there, and you want to defend those things, if you believe in the sanctity of the unborn and the human that rests in the belly of a female, yes, a female, believe it or not, a female is the only one that can have a child without some kind of intervention based on medical science. There are only two genders. But to say that is hate speech these days. They would get you banned on social media. What was the last count? I think Facebook had like 71 different choices to tell what gender you are just to sign up for an account. That's the world we're living in. So when you decide to risk your life and spend your life to accomplish your vision, it's going to be dangerous. But I think you can do it because you got something that maybe you don't realize you have, and I'm going to tell you what it is. You got to do it in that order, by the way: vision, passion, discipline, risk. Let me tell you why. Because risk without discipline, that's recklessness. And discipline without passion, that's legalism. That's no fun. That's just obeying the rules. Passion without vision is hype. It's just cheerleading. And vision without faith is meaningless. So I want you guys to have faith. What are you talking about? Well, I want you to have faith in yourself. I want you to have faith in the community of people you have around you, faith in your family. I want you to have faith in God, but I want you to have faith that you can accomplish the vision. It's interesting when you look at where we've come in this world. Where we've come as a country. You know, just 50, 60, 70 years ago, we were fighting against segregation. And today, they're fighting to get it back. Used to be that when riots happened, the black community went in and burned down the black community. Now, we have BLM members who aren't even black, who are going in, white people, and burning down the black community. Now, explain to me that lunacy. I was at the Trump rally in Tulsa. BLM comes marching through doing their protest, and they're doing their whole thing. I saw one black guy in the entire parade. Doesn't make sense to me. An organization founded by Marxists are determining the script these days. BLM's raised over $1 billion in 7 years. Not a penny of it goes to the black community. But yet, they'll live and die for it. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because somebody had a vision to do it. They had a passion for it. They took the discipline, they made the risk, and people are believing the lie. That's how big that vision was. See, it can go negatively too, so I encourage you, pick your vision wisely. You know, dogs, when they travel in packs, I'm going to change gears here and finish up. Dogs, when they travel in packs, do one of four things at any given time. They sleep, they eat, they fight amongst each other, and if unthreatened, they'll let new members join the pack. They sleep. Some of you are doing that now. They eat. Did you enjoy the Chick-fil-A? That Jesus chicken will get you. Let me tell you how powerful Charlie Kirk is. The last time I did a Charlie Kirk event, TP USA, back in December, he had Chick-fil-A in the green room on a Sunday. I was like, Charlie got a direct line on Sunday. I've never eaten Chick-fil-A on Sunday. Charlie Kirk made it happen. That man. They sleep, they eat, they fight amongst each other. If unthreatened, they'll let new dogs join the pack. That is until a rabbit runs by. The ones that are sleeping wake up to chase the rabbit. The ones that are eating stop to chase more food in the rabbit. The ones that are fighting amongst each other will stop in order to pursue. And they'll let new members join the pack as long as they're willing to join the chase. That rabbit's pretty powerful. Changes everything. You know what we are? You know what we are? We're conservatives running in packs. You know what churches are? Churches are Christians running in packs. And you know what organizations do? You know what our communities do? We sleep. We get lethargic. We just say, it's going to be okay. I'm here to tell you, if without doing something in one generation, it's not going to be okay. I'm trusting you to carry this torch, guys. Wake up. They sleep. They eat. That is, they consume the goodness and the information and the things that the organization or the pack provides. So it's easy to come in here and fill your mind up, but you got to be a conduit through which the reservoir flows. So you have to go out and now have a conversation, and I'm holding you to that. I want you to challenge people. I don't want you to go out and be violent. I don't want you to go out and curse anybody. I don't want you to get in fights. I don't want you to get in anybody's faces screaming and yelling. But Charlie Kirk, again, is a perfect example. Perfect example of somebody who can calmly, coolly, collectively, with logic, defend his position. You know why? Because he educated himself. He ate, but he was a conduit through which it could flow. We fight amongst ourselves, don't we? Man, the business of politics can get ugly. It can get really ugly. And I don't have to tell you that. And as long as everybody's willing to go along with us and do things the way we've always done it, we'll let people join us, right? But I'm encouraging you, stop all of those things and chase the rabbit. You say, what's the rabbit? It's your vision. It's your vision. Right now, my vision is November 3rd, 2020. Because there are some massive things at play in this country. And we need Donald Trump back in the White House for another 4 years. Yesterday, we learned that Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, God rest her, but it just took this election up 1,000 times in terms of its importance. Who knows what's going to happen? It ain't going to be pretty. And I'm not trying to use a shock tactic or a scare tactic, but it's not going to be pretty. We have so much going on. Texas, we almost lost it to Beto O'Rourke in a race in 2018 against Senator Ted Cruz. You know why? Money from California. You know what's going on right now? Money from Barack Obama is being flooded into this state. There are powers at play, and everybody says, well, George Soros. Well, George Soros isn't funding everything. There's a lot of folks out there who are, and they're funding some real bad ideologies. So I'm encouraging you guys, if you're old enough to vote, vote. When the time comes, the first thing I did when I turned 18 is I registered to vote and I registered for selective service. I wanted to be a patriot. I wanted to be able to determine the future of this country at 18 years of age. I encourage you to do the same thing. It's so important what we're doing. So important. Man, it rests on your shoulders. It rests on your shoulders, guys. I can't tell you. I can't stress it enough. If I could take my heart out of my chest and just put it in your chest for a little while, and you could feel the beating of it and know that the passion that's inside of me to keep America, America. Because right now, like I said about Texas, America isn't the America that most Americans think it is. There are people out there who want to fundamentally destroy this country and start again. One big globalist society, and I promise you, you don't want to live in that. You, by virtue of being born in this country, got the golden ticket. You are so fortunate. And I believe God's divine hand rests upon this country because we play a part in God's plan in the global economy. We do. And you know what? Let me tell you this as well. We haven't gotten what we deserve. The last 40 some odd years of 30 million unborn babies being slaughtered at the altar of sacrifice, all because of convenience. Yet God's grace has remained. But his steady hand is wavering over this country. And we got to turn back to him. I'm not preaching to you. I'm just telling you, that's the way it goes. You're going to reap what you sow. There's a man in this world. There's a woman in this world. Remember what I said, who's never turned down wherever they chance to stray. They're greeted with pleasure, deserts of sand, out where the farmers make hay. Remember that? Wherever they go, there's a welcoming hand. Remember that? Why? They're a man, they're a woman that deliver the goods. Be that man, be that woman. I love you. God bless you.